stop what you're doing right now, because what I'm about to show you is going to completely change how you think about winter. While everyone else is staring at dead gardens through frozen windows, there are people right now harvesting fresh passion fruit in their living rooms, growing kiwis in their bedrooms, picking cherry tomatoes in February. And they're doing it with plants that don't die every year, plants that produce food season after season without replanting. I spent $800 and killed 23 plants before I figured out what actually works. The gardening videos you've watched, they're leaving out the 3 critical details that make or break indoor food production. And I'm going to expose every single one because I'm done watching people waste money on plants that die in 3 weeks. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 10 perennial vines will actually produce food indoors, the specific mistakes that kill them, and the one variety that gave me 42 pounds of food last year from my apartment window. But only if you stay until the end, because I'm revealing them in order, from easiest to most productive. Let's go. Hack number 1, cherry tomatoes, the continuous producer. Let me start by destroying a myth right now. Tomatoes aren't annuals if you grow them indoors correctly. My current cherry tomato plant is 19 months old and it's still producing 2 pounds of fruit every month. The same plant. That's perennial production, and it's the easiest place for anyone to start. But here's where everyone fails. They choose the wrong variety, use terrible soil, and wonder why their plant dies in 6 weeks. You need indeterminate cherry varieties specifically, Sun Gold, Sweet Million, or Tiny Tim. These tolerate indoor conditions and keep producing indefinitely. Never plant regular tomatoes or determinate varieties indoors. They're programmed to die after one harvest. Container size is non-negotiable. 7-gallon fabric grow bag minimum. Fabric, not plastic, because fabric air prunes the roots and prevents binding. Fill it with this exact mix: equal parts quality potting soil, perlite for drainage, and worm castings for slow nutrition. Add 1 cup of bone meal for calcium, or you'll get blossom end rot and lose half your tomatoes. Now the lighting. This is where 90% of people fail. You cannot grow productive tomatoes with just window light. It's impossible. You need a full-spectrum LED grow light, minimum 30 watts actual draw, positioned 12 inches above the plant, running 14 hours per day on a timer. I use Mars Hydro TS600, $70, non-negotiable. For support, drive a 6-foot bamboo stake deep into the soil at planting. As the vine grows, prune it to one main stem, removing every single sucker, and tie the stem to the stake every 8 inches. This vertical growth maximizes production in minimum space. Once the plant reaches 4 feet, cut the top. This forces all energy into fruit production instead of endless upward growth. Your harvest will triple. Pollination is critical indoors. Get a cheap electric toothbrush. When flowers open, touch the vibrating toothbrush to each flower cluster for 5 seconds. The vibration releases pollen exactly like a bee. Fruit set goes from 20% to 90% with this trick. Do this every 3 days during flowering. Feed weekly with fish emulsion at half strength, monthly calcium spray on leaves. That's it. My 19-month-old plant has produced 38 pounds of cherry tomatoes so far, over $200 worth from one $70 initial investment. Still think indoor growing is expensive? Hack number 2, Malabar Spinach, the forgotten powerhouse. This vine will produce more edible greens per square foot than anything else you can grow indoors, period. One plant gives you enough leaves for 2 big salads every week all winter long. And nobody grows it because it's not sexy, it's not exotic fruit, but it's a productivity monster. Malabar spinach tolerates lower light than almost any edible vine. It handles dry indoor air. It grows explosively fast. And it's truly perennial. The same plant produces for years. There are 2 varieties, green-stemmed and red-stemmed.
Always choose the red-stemmed Bacella rubra. It's more vigorous and stunningly beautiful with deep magenta stems and veins. Container setup is simple. 5-gallon bucket with drainage holes. Standard potting mix enriched with extra compost. Plant your seedling or rooted cutting, water it in, and give it support. Malabar climbs by twining stems, so it needs something to wrap around. A bamboo tripod works perfectly. 3 stakes tied at the top. The vine covers it in 6 weeks. Here's the lighting requirement that makes this plant perfect for beginners. 6 hours of bright indirect light or a basic LED grow light running 10 hours per day. That's it. You don't need expensive high-intensity lights. I grow Malabar spinach with an $8 shop light from the hardware store. It works flawlessly. The harvesting technique is what unlocks continuous production. Never cut the main stem. Instead, pinch off the top 3 to 4 inches of each growing tip every week. The plant responds by producing 2 new shoots where you cut 1. It branches exponentially. Within a month, you have dozens of growing tips to harvest. It's self-multiplying food production. Temperature preference is warmer than most plants, 65 to 80 degrees, perfect for heated homes. Water every other day when the top inch of soil feels dry. Don't let it wilt. Stressed Malabar spinach stops producing for weeks. How to use it? Young leaves raw in salads, older leaves cooked like spinach. They get slightly mucilaginous when cooked, similar to okra, which is perfect for thickening soups. My favorite preparation is stir-fried with garlic and soy sauce. 3 minutes, better than restaurant spinach. Last winter, 1 Malabar spinach vine produced 3 pounds of leaves per month for 5 months straight. 15 pounds total. That's over $60 of organic greens from 1 5-gallon bucket. And the plant is still producing right now as I'm recording this. Show me another indoor crop with that return. Hack number 3, passion fruit. High risk, massive reward. Now we enter challenging territory. Passion fruit indoors is hard. It requires specific conditions. But when you succeed, you're harvesting $4 per fruit tropical delicacies in your living room in January. Let me be honest, your first attempt will probably fail. Mine did. The vine sulked for 6 months. Then I changed 3 things and it exploded with 18 fruits. Those 3 things are lighting intensity, container size, and triggering flowering. You need Passiflora edulis, the purple passion fruit. Buy a grafted plant, not seed-grown. Grafted plants produce fruit years faster. Expect to pay $40. Worth it. Container size cannot be compromised. 20-gallon fabric grow bag minimum. Fabric, not plastic, because fabric air prunes the roots and prevents binding. Fill it with this exact mix: 40% potting mix, 30% perlite for drainage, 20% orchid bark for drainage, 10% worm castings. This drains fast but holds moisture. Passion fruit is incredibly picky on soil moisture. Here's the lighting breakthrough. 1 grow light isn't enough. You need 2 full-spectrum LEDs, minimum 40 watts each, positioned on either side of the plant, running 12 hours per day minimum. This creates even coverage across the entire vine. After I added the second light, flower buds appeared in 3 weeks. Before that, nothing for 6 months. Lighting angle matters as much as intensity. Temperature is critical, and this is the secret almost nobody knows. Passion fruit needs a 10-degree night temperature drop to trigger flowering. Day temperature 70 to 75 degrees. Night temperature 60 to 65 degrees. This differential mimics natural conditions and signals flowering. I achieved this with a programmable thermostat. Without the temperature drop, you get a beautiful green vine that never flowers. Build a substantial trellis. Passion fruit vines get heavy. I use a wooden frame with heavy wire, creating a grid pattern. The vine tendrils wrap around the wire. It becomes a living wall. For pollination, use a small paintbrush when flowers open. Transfer pollen from flower centers to other flowers. Each flower stays open about 12 hours. Pollinate in late morning. Fruit set is about 50%. Feed weekly with balanced liquid fertilizer at full strength during growth, monthly with high phosphorus bloom fertilizer. Heavy feeding is essential. Timeline from perfect conditions to first fruit is 4 months. Flowers take 60 weeks to form. Fruit takes 60 to 80 days to mature. Not instant gratification, but absolutely worth it. Last winter, my 3-year-old passion fruit produced 18 fruits between December and April, each fruit 3 to 4 ounces. Total value, approximately $70, from one vine in my living room. The flavor is intensely tropical, sweet, tart, nothing like store-bought. This is why we do this. Hold on, before number 4, I need to expose the biggest lie in indoor gardening. Everyone says you need a greenhouse or special room to grow food indoors. Completely false. Everything I'm showing you grows in normal living spaces, my bedroom, my kitchen. But there's one thing you absolutely must understand about indoor vines that changes everything. It's about pruning. Most people either never prune, thinking it reduces production, or they prune randomly without strategy. Both fail. The next 7 vines require specific pruning techniques. Miss this and you'll never get the yields I'm showing you. Stay with me because number 7 will shock you. Hack number 4. Dwarf kiwi Issai, self-fertile wonder. Most kiwis need male and female plants, impossible in small spaces, but Issai is self-fertile. One plant produces fruit alone. The fruits are smooth-skinned, grape-sized, sweeter than anything you can buy. You eat them whole. Here's what kills most indoor kiwi attempts. People don't provide winter chill. Kiwis need cold dormancy or they never flower, just vegetative growth forever. In November, move your kiwi to the coldest room in your house, 45 to 55 degrees. Basement, garage, unheated bedroom. Keep it there 6 to 8 weeks with minimal watering. The plant goes dormant, drop some leaves. This is necessary. In late January, move it back to warmth and light. Within 6 weeks, flower buds form. This is the critical trick. Container size, 15 gallons minimum. Soil mix, slightly acidic. 60% potting mix, 30% peat moss, 10% perlite. Test pH, aim for 6 to 6.5. The pruning system creates big harvests. Train 2 main horizontal stems like arms extending left and right. All fruiting happens on shoots from these arms. Every winter during dormancy, prune fruiting shoots back to 4 to 6 buds. Seems drastic, it concentrates energy. Fruit production explodes. Lighting after chill period. Intense LED grow lights, 12 hours daily. I use Mars Hydro TSL 2000. $150 but covers large area. Support structure, horizontal wires on wall, spaced 1 foot apart vertically. Train main stems along lowest wire. Fruiting shoots grow upward. Pollination is automatic since Issai is self-fertile, but shake flowering branches every few days to distribute pollen. Timeline. After chill and return to warmth, flowers appear in 6 weeks. Fruits take 90 to 110 days to mature, not winter harvest, but indoor production. Last year, my 3-year-old Issai produced 53 fruits, about 4 pounds, intensely sweet with strawberry and melon notes. You cannot buy this fresh anywhere. Specialty fruit only available if you grow it. Hack number 5, sweet potato vine, hidden edible. Everyone knows sweet potato vines as ornamental, beautiful foliage trailing from baskets. Almost nobody realizes the leaves are edible, nutritious, and delicious. This is one of the easiest indoor edibles. No special lighting, no temperature requirements, just grows. Start from organic sweet potatoes from the grocery stores. Stick toothpicks in, suspend half submerged in water. Sprouts vines in 2 weeks. Or buy ornamental varieties from garden centers. They're edible despite myths. I've eaten them for 3 years. Container, 5-gallon bucket or hanging basket. Standard potting mix. Here's what makes this perfect for beginners. Tolerates low light better than anything else on this list. Grows in bright, indirect light with no supplemental lighting. For faster growth, add basic LED running 8 hours daily. Even cheap bulbs work. The harvest technique determines production. Pinch off top 3 to 4 inches of each vine weekly. Plant responds by branching, produces more growing tips. Continuous harvest, increasing production over time. How to use? Young, tender leaves and stems only. Older leaves get tough. Stir fry like spinach with garlic. Mild, slightly sweet flavor. High in vitamins A and C, iron, protein. Production from 1 hanging basket, 2 to 3 cups edible leaves weekly throughout winter. Consistent, easy, requires 0 special equipment. Bonus most people don't know, grow sweet potato vine in large container for full year. It produces actual tubers underground. I discovered this dumping out a container after 14 months. Found 6 sweet potatoes, golf ball to softball size, about 3 pounds. Surprise harvest. The vines had been producing leaves the entire time while making tubers. Hack number 6, climbing nasturtium, edible beauty. Nasturtiums are technically annuals but reseed so readily indoors they're functionally continuous. Both leaves and flowers are edible with peppery watercress flavor. This is the vine you grow when you want beauty and food together. Choose climbing varieties, not bush types. Jewel Mix and Spitfire are excellent climbers. Seeds are large, easy to handle. Germinate in 5 to 7 days. Harvesting leaves in 3 weeks, fastest producer on this list. The nasturtium's secret: poor soil produces more flowers. Counterintuitive, but true. In rich, high nitrogen soil, they produce excessive leaves and few flowers. Since flowers are the prize, use standard potting mix with no added fertilizer. Water regularly, but don't feed. You'll get flower explosions. Container size, 3 to 5 gallons. Small root systems. Grow 3 plants in corners of 1 15-gallon container for impressive display. Lighting, moderate. 4 to 6 hours direct sun or bright LED 8 hours daily. Less light than most edibles. Temperature preference, cooler is better, 60 to 70 degrees. Perfect for rooms kept cooler in winter. Support, thin bamboo or string trellis. Stems climb by wrapping leaf stems around supports. Or grow in hanging baskets. Let them trail. Look stunning. Harvesting, pick young leaves regularly for salads. Peppery kick like arugula. Pick flowers anytime fully open. Entire flower edible, gorgeous in salads or garnish. Green seed pods, also edible, can be pickled as fake capers. Succession planting strategy. Nasturtiums bloom heavily 2 to 3 months, then decline. As the first plant slows, plant new seeds. They grow so fast you can have continuous production, staggering plantings. Production. During peak bloom, 1 plant produces 5 to 10 flowers daily and enough leaves for a small salad every few days. Flavor is distinctive, peppery, not for everyone, but visual impact of edible flowers blooming indoors in February is incredible, worth growing for beauty alone. The food is bonus. Stop right here. I know what you're thinking. This is too complicated, too expensive, and you're worried about bugs indoors. These myths stop people from trying, and it kills me. Let me destroy them. Myth 1, expensive. My total investment for 10 vines was $350 2 years ago. Harvests since then exceeded $2,000 worth of produce, paid for itself in 4 months. Myth 2, pest infestations. I've grown indoors 3 years, had exactly 2 pest issues, both easily solved. Indoor pest pressure is dramatically lower than outdoors. Myth 3, need a special room. Nope. Everything grows in normal living spaces. Now, let me show you the vines that push absolute limits of indoor production. Hack number 7, Cucamelon, adorable producer. Cucamelons look like miniature watermelons, taste like cucumbers with lime. They're adorable, productive, surprisingly easy indoors. Plus, they form tuberous roots you overwinter. True perennials. Container, 5-gallon minimum. Plants form tubers underground like dahlias. Need space. Soil, standard potting mix with extra perlite for drainage. Don't like wet feet. Lighting requirements, bright. Full sun plants outdoors need intense LED grow lights 12 to 14 hours daily indoors. Full spectrum panel 40 to 60 watts, positioned 12 inches above plant. Temperature, warm. Tropical plants wanting 65 to 75 degrees minimum. Perfect for heated homes. Support structure, delicate vines with tiny leaves, thin stems. Climb using tendrils. Use thin bamboo or string trellis. Vines grow 6 to 8 feet indoors. Cover support in lacy ornamental pattern. Pollination is critical and manual. Flowers tiny, easy to miss. Use a small paintbrush. Transfer pollen from male flowers with just stem to female flowers with tiny cucamelon behind the flower. Check daily. Flowers open 1 day only. Fruit production. Once pollinated, fruits appear and grow rapidly. Full size in 10 days. Ready when grape-sized and firm. Wait too long, get mushy, lose flavor. Harvest every few days during production. Flavor and usage. Taste like cucumbers with a sour lime note. Refreshing, crunchy. Eat fresh as snacks. Add to salads. Pickle like regular cucumbers. Adorable. Kids love them. Production from one plant, 2 to 3 pounds over 12 to 16 weeks. Hundreds of individual cucamelons. Novelty fruits, not staples, but novelty and fun factor are high. Overwintering trick. After plant finishes producing and declines, cut vines to soil level, let container dry. Tubers go dormant. Store container cool and dark 2 to 3 months. Bring back to warmth and light. Water. Tubers sprout new vines. Same plant year after year. Hack number 8. Hops for shoots. Expensive delicacy. Completely different from traditional hop growing, not producing cones for brewing, forcing hop rhizomes to produce shoots we harvest as vegetables. Hop shoots are delicacies in Europe, selling $20 to $30 per pound at specialty markets. You can produce them in darkness in a basement for almost zero cost. Setup: purchase hop rhizomes fall or early winter. Any variety works. Cascade and Centennial reliable. 1 rhizome per 10-gallon container. Fill with standard potting mix. Plant rhizome 4 inches deep. Water. Place in complete darkness in a cool location, 50 to 60 degrees. Basement perfect. Dormancy period. Leave it alone 4 weeks. Darkness and cool simulate winter. Rhizome develops roots, prepares to shoot. Breaking dormancy. After 4 weeks, move to warmer location, 65 to 70 degrees, still in darkness. Within 1 to 2 weeks, shoots emerge from the soil, reaching for light they won't find. These etiolated shoots grow fast, 1 inch daily. Harvesting: when shoots reach 6 to 8 inches tall, cut at soil line. Each rhizome produces multiple shoots. Harvest several from the same rhizome. After cutting the first flush, the rhizome produces a second flush 2 to 3 weeks later. Get 3 to 4 harvests before exhaustion. Using hop shoots, taste like asparagus with a slightly bitter, earthy note. Sauté in butter and garlic or blanch and add to salads. Tender, delicious. Grown in darkness, they're pale and mild without bitter hop flavor. Production: 1 rhizome produces 8 ounces to 1 pound edible shoots over 3 to 4 harvests at market prices of $25 per pound, significant value. Whole process 6 to 8 weeks from planting dormant rhizomes to final harvest. After exhausting the rhizome indoors, plant outdoors in spring. Grows normally, possibly recovers. Or compost, buy fresh rhizomes next year. $3 to $5 per rhizome, economical.
Hack number 9, strawberries, vertical berry production. Ever-bearing strawberries don't truly climb, but produce long runners trainable upward on trellises. Specific cultivars marketed as climbing strawberries naturally produce more runners. I grow these using vertical tower system. Fresh berries all winter. For indoor growing, choose ever-bearing or day-neutral varieties. Produce continuously, not one harvest season. Mount Everest, popular climbing variety. Albion, excellent day-neutral type. I plant in vertical tower planter, stacked containers with pockets for multiple plants. 12 strawberry plants in 2 square feet floor space. Growing medium, rich, well-draining. Mix potting soil, compost, perlite. Moderate feeders. Fertilize every 2 weeks with balanced liquid fertilizer, slightly higher phosphorus for flowering and fruiting. Need consistent moisture. Water tower daily or every other day. Ensure water reaches all levels. Light critical for indoor strawberry production. Very bright light. 8 to 10 hours direct sun or strong LED grow lights. Full spectrum LEDs positioned close to plants. Rotate tower weekly so all sides get even light. Temperature, prefer cooler conditions, 55 to 70 degrees. Perfect for indoor winter growing. Pollination indoors requires manual intervention. Small paintbrush transferring pollen flower to flower every few days, or gently brush hand over all flowers distributes pollen effectively. Good pollination essential for well-formed berries. Plants start flowering 6 weeks after planting, produce continuously for months. Last winter, a tower of 12 plants produced fresh berries continuously December through April. Total harvest 8 to 10 pounds. Not huge compared to outdoor beds, but fresh strawberries in January is incredible. Vertical space efficiency means 8 pounds from 2 square feet floor space. This vine I mentioned at beginning produced over 20 pounds cumulatively over multiple seasons, continues producing year after year. Hack number 10, Goji berry, ultimate long game. Most challenging vine on this list, only true woody perennial. Goji berries typically outdoor shrubs, but produce indoors with specific care. Advanced growers only. Takes 2 to 3 years before significant production. If committed to long-term indoor food growing, goji berries are the ultimate permanent crop. Why goji indoors? Superfoods, incredibly nutritious, expensive. Fresh goji almost impossible to find in stores. Dried costs $20 per pound. Establish indoor goji producing 2 pounds yearly, tremendous value from something producing indefinitely. Variety, choose dwarf or compact like sweet lifeberry. Stays smaller, more suitable for containers than standard Lycium barbarum. Container size cannot be compromised. 25 to 30 gallons minimum. Woody shrubs with extensive root systems. Planting once in large permanent container, not repotting.
Soil requirements: well-draining mix with sand added. Tolerate poor soil but demand excellent drainage. 50% potting mix, 30% perlite, 20% coarse sand. Drains instantly, prevents root rot. Lighting intense. Full sun plants needing maximum light intensity. 2 high-output LED grow lights running 14 hours daily minimum. Expensive, no way around it. Budget $150 to $200 for lights. Temperature needs include winter chill. Similar to kiwis, goji needs a cold dormancy period, 8 to 10 weeks in a cool location, 40 to 50 degrees. Returns to warmth, triggers flowering and fruiting. Pruning is complex. Goji berries fruit on 1-year-old wood, meaning branches that grew last season. Every winter during dormancy, prune to maintain framework and encourage new fruiting wood. Leave 6 to 8 main branches, cut everything else. This focuses energy into fewer productive branches rather than sprawling growth. Timeline from planting young goji to first significant harvest is 2 to 3 years. Year 1, establishment, root development, minimal growth. Year 2, vigorous vegetative growth, possibly a few flowers. Year 3, real production begins. Mature plants produce 2 to 4 pounds berries annually indoors. Fresh goji berries are sweet tart, nothing like dried. Use them fresh in smoothies, salads, or dry your own. This is not beginner plant, it's a commitment. But if you want permanent indoor food production from a plant lasting decades, goji berry is the ultimate investment. My 4-year-old goji produced 2.3 pounds last year. That's $46 worth of superfood from one permanent plant taking up 4 square feet. There they are, 10 perennial edible climbing vines producing real food indoors while everything outside is frozen. From easy cherry tomatoes to challenging goji berries, you know exactly what works, what fails, and the specific techniques separating success from wasted money. These aren't temporary houseplants, these are permanent food factories, producing year after year. Which vine are you starting with? Already growing food indoors? Drop a comment below. Tell me what country you're watching from. If this video changed how you think about winter food production, smash that like button and subscribe to Garden Solace. We're just getting started. Click the bell so you catch our next video. Thanks for watching. Now go turn your home into a winter food jungle.